Good morning to all of you. I'm going to discuss about the organisms and how they obtain energy. Living organisms obtain energy from the food they eat. You eat 3 to 4 times a day to supply your body, specifically your body cells, with energy. Energy is vital to life. Without energy, all biological processes and life-sustaining mechanism of your body will stop. Organisms are classified according to how they obtain food. Autotrophs, or the self-feeders, are organisms that can produce their own food. The most common and observable autotrophs that you know are the plants. Plants do not eat, but they can sustain their energy by making their own food. Autotrophs are classified into two, namely the photoautotrophs and the chemoautotrophs. When we talk of photoautotrophs organism, it can produce their own food through the process of what we call photosynthesis. Some examples of phototrophs are plants like cyanobacteria and euglena. As said earlier, the sun is the primary source of energy. The energy that is used by photoautotrophs in making food is light, which is the visible portion of the sun's radiation. Photoautotrophs absorb sunlight through their chlorophyll, enabling them to synthesize food by combining water and carbon dioxide to produce an energy-storing substance called glucose. Glucose stores a lot of chemical energy that come from the light. Another example of the autotrophs is the chemoautotrophs, are almost similar to photoautotrophs in that they can also make food. The difference is if the photoautotrophs use light energy in making food, chemoautotrophs use the energy from the chemical substance in synthesizing food. We called it the chemosynthesis. The chemosynthesis is the process of using the energy from inorganic substances like sulfur, ammonia, and nitrite ions to produce food. Chemoautotrophs are usually the archaea that thrive in habitats with extreme environmental conditions, such as the hydrothermal vent on the seafloor, where no light can penetrate. Having the ability to make food that stores energy, autotrophs are usually consumed by organisms that cannot produce food, the heterotrophs. What is heterotrophs? Heterotrophs are organisms that feed on autotrophs or other heterotrophs to obtain the energy they need. When an autotroph is eaten by a heterotroph, the latter obtains the energy present in the autotroph. Such feeding process marks a transfer of energy from one organism to another. When a heterotroph eats another heterotroph, energy is still being transferred. The process is usually seen in a typical food chain. Heterotrophic organisms are mostly animals and humans. Another thing that we need to discuss about how energy obtained is the metabolism and its phases. It is very important to understand the metabolic phases and how it works to sustain life. The cells using various methods harvested inorganic or organic substances from the environment. The cell processes these substances. The processing of the substances involves a series of chemical reactions referred to as the metabolic process. Metabolism is the overall chemical reactions that happen in an organism. Metabolism has two phases, the anabolism and the catabolism. What are the difference of these two types of metabolism? The anabolism is what we call the constructive phase of metabolism. Constructive in the sense that out of a simple substances, complex substances which store energy are produced. Formation of complex substances out of small ones is what we call an endergonic reaction. When we say endergonic reaction, it means energy storing reaction. A very good example of anabolism is photosynthesis. Water and carbon dioxide are simple substances that after processing produce what we call glucose, a complex energy storing substances. The opposite of anabolism is the catabolism, right? Catabolism is the destructive phase of metabolism. It is the process that breaks down complex substance to simpler ones. Formation of simpler substances from complex substances is an exergonic reaction. Exergonic reaction means energy releasing reaction. An example of catabolism is cellular respiration, which breaks down glucose with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Photosynthesis stores chemical energy in the chloroplast of what we call photoautotrophs so as to make glucose. Cellular respiration on the other hand, releases the chemical energy stored in glucose to be used by the cells. Cellular respiration happens simultaneously in cytoplasm and in the mitochondria of the cells. Let us sum up our discussion. Organisms eat food to gain energy. Autotrophs are organisms that can produce their own food, either by photosynthesis or photoautotrophs or chemoautotrophs. The primary source of energy of phototrophic organism is the sun, while for the chemosynthetic organism is the inorganic compounds. Heterotrophics cannot produce their own food. They feed themselves by eating autotrophs or other heterotrophs to gain energy. Metabolism refers to the overall chemical reaction in an organism. There are two metabolic phases: anabolism, which is the constructive phase, and catabolism, which is the destructive phase of metabolism.